Welcome to another episode of You Can Handle the Tooth. This is Dr. J, the real floss boss. Glad to be with you today. I've been really excited about all of the feedback I've gotten from doing these videos, and we've had literally thousands of views on these videos, and so that's what keeps me coming back to give you guys more information. So it's real important to me that you guys know, number one, this is not about me selling me. This is about me helping you. I'm offering dental advice, dental tips, just sort of like a virtual consult for you. If you're in pursuit of some sort of dentistry with your dentist, could be anywhere, maybe this information can be helpful for you. Also, we don't do any diagnosing here. This is just a conversation, a general conversation about dentistry, okay? So today we're going to touch on a subject that I have, 5-6 consults a week on this very subject, and that is dental veneers, okay? So the smile makeover, which is, really hot in cosmetic dentistry, and so cosmetic veneers. We have, first of all, people always want to know what's the difference between a crown and a veneer, and honestly, it just has to do with prep design. When you look at veneers or look at crowns, if they're done well by a good cosmetic dentist, there's no difference. There's no reason, virtually no reason to have porcelain fused to metal crowns anymore, so you'll never have that black line up at the gum. And so crowns and veneers, basically the rule of thumb is this: if more of the tooth is compromised from decay or fracture, then you have to be a little more aggressive and do a crown. If not, then you can do a veneer. And so a veneer is sort of like a jacket. It'll cover the front, maybe the top edge, and then right in between the teeth. It won't cover the back of the teeth. So you can think of a veneer as being like a partial crown, just sort of like a veneer, right? That goes on the front of something. So when you talk about veneering, the days of you get what your dentist gives you is over. No longer do you have to do that. When you are ready to make some improvements in your smile that aren't going to be orthodontic or bonding, that are going to be veneers, you can talk to the dentist. You can show them pictures, close-up pictures of maybe how your teeth were, or maybe your daughter's teeth or some movie star's teeth. As long as it's close up enough, we can usually duplicate that. It's not to say that Julia Roberts' teeth fit everyone's face, okay? You will hopefully have a good cosmetic dentist that can coach you on a style that matches you, but we could do those teeth. And so there's also a smile guide that you can look at that has about 12 different smiles on it. Maybe I'll post it on the Facebook link later after this episode, where it shows you different smiles you can pick from. So they basically had one patient, and then they had like 12 different styles of veneer. Some are flatter, some are rounder, some have different subtle differences. And so you can always pick from one of those and then move forward from there. You don't have to, get the impression and then cross your fingers and hope they turn out like you like them. You can know ahead of time how they're going to look. And I'm going to show you a case up close and talk more about the process at the end of this episode. Okay, so stick around. So we're going to look at some models and some pictures, and I'm going to show you exactly how the process works. Okay, but we always like to take time to have the most popular questions that are asked in the consult. That's all we have written down here are the popular questions. I've got Amy, who's our social media intern, helping us today. Say hi, Amy.
Hi, guys.
So, all right, what is the first question, Amy?
So one of the first popular questions that you get a lot in your consults is, do veneers hurt? Okay.
When they ask that kind of question, I wonder, do they mean, does it hurt when you're doing them? Does it hurt, how long is the recovery time? So let's talk about both of those really quick. The process of having veneers done hurts no more or no less than having like a regular crown done if you've had that. If you've had fillings, basically the same thing. I mean, there's a little more drilling that has to be done usually on veneers. Oh, let me back up one second, because I know some of you are asking about are thinking about prepless veneers. And I'd love to talk about prepless veneers in another video. Maybe that's another episode I could do, but prepless veneers is certainly an option, but we're talking about traditional veneers for this video, okay? So for traditional veneers, it hurts as much as or as little as a regular crown. If you have good anesthesia, it doesn't hurt at all. I will say this about veneers. Of all the places to get injections in your mouth for anesthesia, these are some of the most tender. They are. They're a little tender there to get the injections. So that will hurt a little bit worse than some of the other ones in the back, especially the back upper. Those don't hurt hardly at all. So that can be a little bit tender getting the injections. As far as the process goes and post-op sensitivity, you will have some temporaries in most cases that you're wearing, temporary veneers. Those can be sensitive over the 2 or 3 weeks that you're wearing them. You can be a little bit sore, but nothing that would require more than like Advil, okay?
Okay, so after you have the procedure done, a lot of people want to know how long they're going to last and will they break after the temporaries?
Okay, good. That's a really good question. Super popular. How long do they last? If you look at data, data shows the crowns and veneers last about 8 years. That's just data, right? So some last less, some last longer. If you're getting them done in a way that your insurance helps pay a little bit for them, insurance only requires 5 years. So after 5 years, your insurance will pick up their portion again if it needs to be replaced. What could go wrong? I mean, I've been doing this for like 16 years. I've got patients I put veneers on 16 years ago, still have them all in place. And then I have some patients, you know, who've they will debond. I mean, if I have to count, honestly, debonding is so rare. So for them to just fall off, very, very rare. I mean, like less than 1%, you know, super, super small. You have a much greater chance of fracturing them. So if you have a bite issue where teeth are being chipped on the edges, they're being chipped for a reason, probably because of the way your bite, well, your upper teeth and your lower teeth cooperate together or don't cooperate together. And so if you have those issues, the veneering can often repair the bad relationship you have between your upper teeth and your lower teeth so that they're protected. But they could chip, and in those cases, the dentist can replace them for you. And a lot of dentists will offer some sort of a limited warranty on them. But I think you can sort of look at, on average, just looking at data, that's all the dentists that are doing them are about 8 years. If you go to a good cosmetic dentist and they don't last longer than 8 years, you know, I'd probably be disappointed, but you're right there in the average. If they don't chip, other things that can happen long term, you could have some recession, and then you might notice a color. If you got a whiter shade on your veneer, and then now you have some recession, you could see a little bit of the tooth root up there or something like that. But I think 8 years is good, 8 to 10 years. I mean, even my assistants had them for over 10 years, never had any problems. So there you go.
Now, during the process, a lot of people want to know how much of the natural tooth you're going to remove before you put the veneer on.
Okay, that's a good question, and no one knows. You never know until you get in there. The rule is you take what you need and you leave everything you can. So the end result is to have a great look and to have great function. And to have a great look, sometimes you have to do what I call pseudo-orthodontics, and if you have malaligned teeth, you can straighten them through porcelain. But that may mean you have to prep back on a little bit. If a tooth is rotated out, you have to prep it back a little bit more to get it in line with the arch form. So, I mean, how much? Yeah, it just depends. Absolutely. If you have a lot of decay on the tooth, you got to take more tooth away, you know.
Now, how about the time frame, the amount of time from start to finish?
Okay.
For a veneer?
So there's generally about 3 appointments. The first one is where you start talking about your smile design. Usually you'll have a full photo shoot. We're talking easily between 10 and 20 pictures that are taken of the teeth from different angles, including portraits. And every once in a while, depending on the case, I'll even do some video of the patient talking so we can see how their teeth interact with their lip and things like that. So the first appointment is some impressions, photographs, and a smile consult where we talk about the design of the final product, what you're looking to achieve. If we need to lengthen the teeth, if we need to derotate the teeth, reproportionalize teeth so that they look more symmetric, all that stuff takes place in the first appointment. The first appointment is short and pretty easy. So why do we do the impressions? Do the impressions so that we can get models like this. And I'm going to show you more about this at the end of this episode. But the model will show either the chipped or rotated or broken teeth. And then after the first appointment, while you're home either whitening or doing whatever, the new smile is being rebuilt on the model in wax. So you're going to hear me say wax up or wax sculpture a little later, and now you're going to know what I'm talking about. The wax sculpture is going to be the rebuild of the teeth in the more ideal position and in the style that the patient chose. So about 2 or 3 weeks will go by. You've had one appointment. The second appointment is when you have to get numb and you have the teeth prepared for the veneers. And then the temporaries that you wear are made off of the smile of the wax sculpture. Okay, so you'll go home that day. The teeth will already be straight. They'll be better proportioned, and they'll be whiter if that's what you wanted. And so that's appointment number 2. That one's the one that takes the longest. That's where we do most of the work. About 3 weeks later, all of them are done. They're designed in the way that that the patient has requested, and the porcelain is ready to go. I also have some veneers I'm going to show you, and you'll be able to see what they look like as well. And so the third appointment about 3 weeks later, so total is about 6 weeks, assuming there's not any major changes to take place. And then that last appointment, you usually have to get numb again. Temporaries are removed. Permanent ones are tried in, giving the patient a mirror to check them out. If they give the thumbs up, then they get bonded into place, and that's it.
Okay, now you referenced insurance earlier, and insurance is usually a big thing for people. So how much would you say, or does insurance cover anything for people?
Yeah, last week we did an episode on dental insurance, so make sure you catch that one. But insurance is a frenemy, like big time, right? We love it and we hate it. So we have some insurance policies that just have veneers as a covered service. And in that case, it doesn't really matter if you're getting it done for elective purposes or because you need the rebuild because of something that's broken down. They just say it's a covered service. And remember, we talked about a yearly maximum of around $1,500. They just pay their portion on those procedures. Once you reach your $1,500 max, that's it. In other cases, if it is purely cosmetic and the insurance company does not have a provision to cover veneers, then it's 100% out of pocket, 100%. If they are broken down, worn, decay, something like that, and the teeth need to be restored, sometimes the codes can be altered a little bit. It could be a 3/4 crown or a 7/8 crown or something like that, and you still get the same look, but then you get the functional component, the part that's going to help them last longer. Oh, and I mentioned function earlier when we were talking about how much tooth to take away. Porcelain requires a certain thickness for strength, and so you have to take where you need to so that they'll last. Sorry, go back to that question, but it just came to me.
And that's really all the popular questions
that
we have right now.
All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to take a field trip, and we're going to go back into the lab, and I'm going to show you a case, a before, a wax up, and what the after looks like. Okay? So Amy, why don't you come with us? You want to detach that? Just come right up. There we go. Let's go check it out. You're going to leave this?
Yeah.
Oh, you can say hi. Say
Hi.
What are you doing? All right. Okay, so I thought we'd focus right in here a little bit on some of these here. So this is the model of a before, where they're kind of chipped on the edges, teeth are a little bit short, and needed some veneer work. So I have a photo I was going to show you too of before. So just like the model, chipped on the edges so thin that you can even see through it in some places, and you can see the little fractures here and here. So, all right, that's the before. And then we do a wax up, which is this. This is the same model. So you can, same model here. Okay. And here is the teeth rebuilt in wax. Okay. And we have the actual wax up right here. Okay. So this would be designed in the way that the patient requested and at the proper length it needs to be and the proper shape. Okay? All right, and then finally, we have the veneers. Now, this is the same model. Well, it's a different model, but same mouth. These are the veneers that are made off of this wax up. Okay? And so let me show you the veneers live in real time. So like this is a veneer. Okay? And then when it's on the model, we're going to show them upside down because they will fall off of the model otherwise. Okay? So those are them. So we have the before, we have the wax sculpture, and we have the final product to be seated, all right, or cemented in place. All right, so that is it. Were there any questions that came in?
No.
All right. So listen, thanks for watching. Those of you that are watching, I know most of you pick this up in the evening. I get the comment a lot that 3 o'clock is not the best time, so I'm trying to work on that. But most people pick it up anyways later on the evening. So thanks again for tuning in to You Can't Handle the Tooth. This is the Floss Boss, Dr. J, signing off. We'll see you next week.